The air in Leverkusen smelled of fresh-cut grass and a tension so thick you could almost hear it. A seasoned Spanish fullback had arrived to smiles and photo ops, and within days the club had ripped out its manager. Lucas Vazquez, long a fixture on Real Madrid's right flank and prized for his adaptability, walked into a club buzzing about a new season and instead found himself at the centre of a storm that no press release had prepared him for. The signing itself read like a calculated chess move. Bring a winner with Champions League miles on his legs to steady a squad stretched thin by departures and ambition, but beneath the handshake and the no 21 jersey, conversations had already turned poisonous. The narrative that spilled into headlines was simple and shattering. The club's sporting leaders had pushed the deal forward without the coach's blessing, and that exclusion widened a fissure that had been quietly growing since the season began. What might have been a smart piece of roster management quickly became evidence of a deeper governance rift, and the man supposed to steer the team found himself on the outside as decisions moved like a train without a driver. The early matches offered little breathing room, results that fell short, a dressing room that felt frayed, and a board anxious enough to act before fixture lists could become alibis. For a club aiming high, patience is a currency. When patience runs out, changes are sudden. The dismissal that followed was brutal by modern standards. A managerial tenure measured in days rather than months, and it forced everyone involved to answer an uncomfortable question. Who truly calls the shots at a club hungry for trophies? For Lucas, the headlines were paradoxical. He had not asked for controversy. His career had been defined by steady professionalism and team-first contributions. Yet his arrival was the spark to a tinderbox of mistrust and competing visions. In the locker room, whispers turned into disputes about responsibility, while outside the stadium pundits sketched out scenarios where sporting directors and executives rewrote the rulebook on transfer autonomy. The club insists it acted in the team's best interest. The ousted coach insists he needed time and trust to implement a coherent identity. Somewhere between those statements lies the practical truth. Modern football clubs juggle immediate results, long-term strategy, star power, and personalities, and the balance is delicate. Now the work is messy and urgent. New leadership must steady the ship. The player must settle into a fan base that must decide whether to embrace him as a saviour or blame him as a catalyst, and the wider football world watches for a precedent. Will Leverkusen's gamble pay off or become a cautionary tale about short-term intervention and fractured authority? The answer will shape not just one season, but the evolving compact between managers and the people who hire them. A compact that, after this week, looks more fragile than ever.